Sometimes to understand a massive, world-changing technology, you don't need a 10-year retrospective. You just need to look at one day. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to unpack the chaos, the ambition, and all the contradictions of the entire AI industry just by freezing time on a single 24-hour snapshot. So picture this. On this one day, you had Meta racing to make its AI safer for teens. At the same time, Nvidia was hand-delivering personal supercomputers to Elon Musk. And then you had Anthropic, a company shipping brand new tools to businesses while simultaneously fighting a massive copyright lawsuit. And the crazy part? This was all happening at the exact same time. Yeah, this quote just nails the feeling of it all, right? It's this absolute frenzy of innovation, competition, and controversy, all happening on multiple fronts. And it all boils down to the one central tension of this moment, the question that's hanging over every new product launch and every billion-dollar deal. That is the big question, isn't it? And every single story from this one day, well, it serves as another piece of that puzzle. So let's dive in and start piecing it together, starting with the AI that we can literally hold in our hands and put on our faces. All right, so first up, let's talk about where all this hype actually meets reality. This is where we can see and touch what AI is becoming and where we have to decide for ourselves if the trade-offs are actually worth it. So let's talk about Meta's new AI-powered smart glasses. The reviews, they're kind of all over the place. On one hand, you get these incredible, almost sci-fi features, like live captions appearing in your vision, or this new wrist controller that responds to your gestures. But, and it's a big but, you have all the classic first-generation problems, right? They're a little clunky, the battery life isn't great, and the display can be tough to see in bright light. It's the perfect snapshot of tech that is so promising, but just not quite there yet. And this is where things get really interesting. While the tech critics are pointing out all the flaws, the market is just screaming with approval. Ray-Ban's parent company added over $20 billion in value. That shows this huge gap between the reviews and the reality of what people are buying. And it's basically a massive validation of Meta's bet that AI wearables are the next big thing. Now, let's talk about the other side of that coin, the consequences. As Meta pushes this AI out to millions of people, it's getting a ton of pressure on safety. So the company is rolling out new parental controls for its AI chatbots on Instagram, letting parents do things like turn off private chats or block certain bots for their teens. And why does this matter so much? Because trust is everything in consumer AI. This is Meta trying to earn that trust, one feature update at a time. But of course, those smart glasses and chatbots don't just run on magic. And that brings us behind the curtain, into the engine room, the colossal, unseen infrastructure that's powering all of this. This is where digital dreams slam right into physical reality. You have to love the showmanship here. The CEO of Nvidia, Jensen Huang, literally personally delivered his company's new personal supercomputers to the heads of OpenAI and xAI. This quote just captures that moment perfectly, but it also says everything about Nvidia's role. They're like the neutral arms dealer, supplying the firepower to all the competing sides in the AI wars. What's just staggering here is the sheer amount of power that's being made available to more people. We're talking about a petaflop of AI performance. That's a quadrillion calculations every single second in a box that costs $4,000. This is a total game changer for researchers. It shrinks the time between having an idea and actually testing it from weeks on some shared server to just minutes on your own desk. And here is the brutal physical cost of that ambition. To power its AI dreams, Meta secured $27 billion to build a single data center. And to make sure it has enough electricity, they're commissioning a brand new natural gas plant just for it. This is the key takeaway, folks. This digital revolution has a massive physical footprint that's gonna reshape our energy grid for decades to come. All this spending, all this incredible hype, it brings us right back to that central question. Is this all sustainable progress, or are we just watching a bubble of historic proportions inflate right before our eyes? And it's not just us asking. The International Monetary Fund is officially worried. They've actually listed an AI bust as a top risk to the entire global economy. This chart really shows you why. Roughly a third of recent U.S. economic growth is tied directly to AI spending. If that investment suddenly cools off, it could trigger a major downturn. And it's not just the economists who are being cautious.
This is a quote from OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, just being brutally honest. I mean, when one of the central figures of the entire AI boom publicly says he expects bad stuff to happen, that's a pretty stark contrast to the relentless optimism we usually hear.
So how do we figure this out? Well, the yes, it's a bubble argument points to these crazy high valuations and this circular financing, where big tech companies invest in the AI startups that then spend that money on their cloud services. It all feels a lot like the dot-com era. But the no, it's real side has a key piece of evidence. Unlike back in 2000, a lot of these AI companies have real products with real customers generating real revenue. The truth? It's probably somewhere in the middle.
But look, bubble or not, AI isn't waiting around for us to figure it out. It's marching right into the professional world. It's forcing us to rethink everything from how we work to what's even legal, both in the office and, yes, in the courtroom.
Okay, let's just quickly demystify a legal term you're going to hear a lot more: contributory infringement. In this big lawsuit against the AI company Anthropic, music publishers are basically arguing that because Anthropic built guardrails to monitor what its AI was putting out, it knew infringement was happening and is therefore liable. This is a huge deal for the entire industry.
So this puts Anthropic in this really fascinating spot. It's fighting a legal war that could redefine the rules for training AI, while at the same time, it's shipping powerful new business tools that were built on that very same technology. It's the definition of building the plane while you're flying it, and it just perfectly shows that tension between innovation and regulation playing out in real time.
All right, let's zoom all the way out, because this technology isn't just changing our offices and our courtrooms. It's going deeper. It's reshaping our culture, our sense of identity, and our very definition of what is true.
And this timeline shows just how fast things can go wrong. First, these offensive AI-generated videos of Martin Luther King Jr. start appearing. Then his family rightfully condemns them. And finally, OpenAI is forced to scramble and block the content. It's just a stark reminder of the ethical minefields we're walking into when AI can animate anyone, living or dead, without their consent. And beyond the big ethical issues, there's a creative one. Critics are calling it the sameness problem. The idea is that AI tools can kind of average everything out from their training data and just produce generic, bland content. We're already seeing it in business emails that all sound exactly the same. So the question becomes, is AI a tool for boundless creativity, or is it just a machine for mass-produced conformity? And that really brings us back to the heart of it all. That one day in October, it showed us an industry that is delivering these incredible, almost godlike tools. We have supercomputers that can sit on our desks and AI assistants that live in our glasses. But it also revealed the costs, the risks, and the profound cultural questions that we haven't even begun to answer. The tools are here. There's no question about that. The real question is, are we ready for them?